Good morning and welcome to day 9 of the Arctic adventure. I just spent the night at an abandoned boat ramp and it's just unbelievably nice here. There's a small little beach over there where I want to take a swim, but currently that's still occupied by some geese, so I think they can get quite aggressive. Well, I guess we're gonna make ourselves a cup of coffee first, and when we're done, maybe they are gone. I was also surprised at the store when I saw the selection of drink yogurts. I mean, that section was bigger than like the milk section in Switzerland. I got a vanilla raspberry passion fruit yogurt, so that's gonna be my breakfast today. I mean, not all of it. That would be a nightmare. In fact, I'm still full from yesterday's burgers. Or is that just how they buy yogurt? Because it's pretty firm. I also got an orange juice, but I only have 2 cups and I'm starting to look like a senior citizen with my liquid breakfast. Some really good yogurt though. Coffee's tasty as well. Got everything packed up and the van is ready to go. Now let's just check on the beach one more time, but it doesn't look too good, and the geese or whatever those animals are, still gotta figure that out. They're still here, and while I would love to take a swim, I'm definitely not going to disturb the local wildlife. Also yesterday I picked up quite some trash, but I'm not going to be touching these toilet paper thingies. That's just gross of people. It's just such a cute path down here. They're still here, but you know what? I'm just going to get out my big camera and do some birdography or whatever that's called. Or ornithology? Something with or, isn't it? Ornithology. Birdology. Let's call it birdology. Still pretty happy it didn't roll off the cliff at night. Just imagine the thumbnail and title versions for that video. DIY submarine. I brought my own ferry to the fjords. Going under with Luke. Nah, it's too much. Also, please don't rob me now that you've seen my secret compartment. And we're gonna go for the big one. I think that was about as close as we could get without waking up all the sleepyheads, but that was so peaceful. And another great start to a probably fantastic day if it keeps on delivering like that. Also, I'm not sure if it's some sort of coastal wind or current, but it's so nice and warm. In fact, at night I got a bit too warm. Let me check how warm it is. Well, it says it's only 12.5. I don't know, maybe I'm already turning into a Swede. Now it jumped up to 16.5. I was about to say, there's no way it's 12.5. It's like perfect t-shirt weather. So now we're on our way to Sundsvall because there's another IKEA and I'm pretty far behind with editing. It's almost a shame in this kind of nature, but yeah, I still enjoy doing it quite a bit, so it's like the perfect mixture. Otherwise I would get too bored, I guess. So that's gonna be just a bit more than 100 kilometers of driving. I don't really think I've got a camping spot for tonight yet, but I'd really love to find something similar to this one again. But who knows what the day will bring. Also, I'd still like to take a plunge into the ocean, so yeah, maybe we can combine that. But first we gotta make our way to the IKEA. Now how cool is that? Just drove up on the resting area and then I found this free scale. The scale actually showed -80 before driving on. So the van without me is about 2.1 tons. We don't have too much fuel left, about 30 liters of water. And then all the stuff I put in, like the baggage, I would assume add up to about 120, 150 kilos. So just to build out the load must be about 1.9 tons. So just about 300 kilos more than the empty weight, which isn't that much. It still is kind of a lot if you think about, well, actually it isn't. I mean, the battery alone is 60 kilos. Yeah, I'm really happy with that. Now, I didn't know that there was already tolls in Sweden, but I just looked it up, and it's kind of an automatic system where you have to register your car, I guess, and then you get like the bills online. But I also think it would work if you don't register. So that bridge just cost 70 cents as infrastructure upkeep cost, and I'm happy to pay that because the bridge looked pretty cool. I would also pay it if the bridge was ugly. I just hope IKEA isn't as full as the last one. And apparently there's breakfast there, so if there really is, I'm gonna try that out. And with the IKEA family card you get unlimited coffee, and that was so funny last time. You go up to the coffee machine, and I think in most countries you could choose from, I don't know, like 6 or 7 different coffees and like cappuccinos and all that stuff. And here it's just yes or no, basically. There's just coffee, and it's weak. It's like water. At least I guess you can drink as much of it as you want. But this is so sick compared to the first IKEA. There are those business corners, and the internet is even faster, at least on my phone. There's sockets. And most of all, check this out. Now it's pretty much an all you can eat. You got the ribbon for 59 krones, which is like 5 euros. Probably not gonna go more than once because I have my laptop out later. I've got some scrambled egg with cheese, some yogurt, pancakes, coffee. And yeah, I think the yogurt really is served in those cartons. Here the plain yogurt was in that as well. Yeah, I think that's just how they serve it. All right, I'm gonna enjoy my breakfast now and then get in some editing. Now the breakfast was okay-ish taste-wise, but I stayed pretty much from open to close, and I was the last to leave again. I was super productive, but making these videos just takes so much time. Now it's already 7:15 and I drove another 100 kilometers, and there's about half an hour to go, but I just had to take a stop at this little rest area, and the view is just brilliant. Also, there was another huge bridge, but I wasn't quite prepared to film. Still got some shots. Now picked out a camp spot, and it's about half an hour more to drive, and it's at the visitor center in the middle of a nature reserve, and it seems to be really popular, so I'm not sure I'm gonna film too much, at least today, because there are some hiking paths and I might go for one tomorrow. Oh, and it's finally gonna be the first camp spot with a toilet. Well, I mean, it's like a dry composting toilet. Pretty much just a hole in a hut. Better than the situations I've had the last few days. So let's get over there. I actually wasn't planning on filming anything on the way back because I'm so exhausted. And it's just always hard to tell what I should film and when you've seen enough of stuff. So I just go by the motto, if I don't feel like filming, I'm not gonna film. But then if I'm at a spot like this that I gotta share with you. And also I've really got to enjoy this evening driving. It's kind of peaceful. I do kind of like morning driving more because then there's like no cars on the road. But still, it's quite fun. And also the landscape is getting quite a bit more rocked. I mean, it is the coastal region, so there's a ton of rock and hills and all of that stuff. That's gonna be our exit. Now I have a feeling this will be interesting. And it looks like we're back on gravel roads. I've missed those. So we are in a national park now. 3 kilometers to go. I also just noticed that I haven't seen a lake in probably like 10 hours. Well, and 7 of those were because I was at the IKEA. No more lakes on the coastal side, I guess. Now it is a dirt road, but it's so compacted down and there's barely any gravel on it. It's way nicer to drive than the ones we had like 2 or 3 days ago. Also, that's another camp spot I saw on Park for Night. Park for Sleep. Sleep for Park. I don't know. And the reason I'm saying it's quite popular, and I expect there to be quite a lot of vehicles, there's a ton of reviews. However, quite a lot of those are actually a few weeks old. There might actually not be masses of people. So this national park is called Skuleskogens. And yeah, it's a national park. I don't know anything else. I'll look it up tonight. Now we're going down again. It's kind of like we're on top of a hill range or something. Also, one more thing regarding IKEA. At the end, I thought I'm gonna have dinner and get my veggie meatballs, and they were out of stock. And I waited in line for, I don't know, half an hour, and the only other veggie dish they had was this sort of like a Swedish rice, creamy rice, tomato thingy. It wasn't bad, but yeah, I was a bit disappointed. Now we're definitely driving uphill again. Let's see if there's still a parking spot left for us. So that's the visitor center to our right. Ah, so that's cool. So I think all the vans are just too big for the parking lot. I think I'm gonna drive around it just to see if there's any cool spots. So that was one part. That's another one. Yeah, it is pretty busy. Yeah, it's not great, but it also isn't bad at all. Do you think that's allowed if I park sideways? Let's take a walk through the park. So here's our tourist information. I think that's the one we're gonna take tomorrow. It's really pretty. The goal right now is just to figure out what hike we're gonna do tomorrow. Then I think I'm gonna go to bed really early and wake up at like 5 and then do the walk. I mean, I don't think it's gonna be like a hike. It's really nice here. Toilet, there's 2 toilets. There's even a recycling section. Still didn't see a map. This is beautiful. Do we just walk that way? It's so nice, the sun in the back and the moss on the ground. And it's so quiet again. Well, until this guy showed up, looks promising. This is so cool. There's like paper plans. We got off the E4 and then drove up here and are at the west entrance. So there's pretty much only one route we can take, and that's the cobble embankments. I mean, that was my favorite anyways. It looks okay-ish. And then I think to this place over here, it's about 2.5 kilometers. I'm probably gonna do that tomorrow, then walk back. So that should be doable in like 1.5 hours. Kind of a shame that we can't make like a round trip. Oh, I feel like a real explorer having his paper map and then just kind of overlooking the field of exploration. But I'm probably gonna get lost tomorrow. It took me embarrassingly long to find the entrance we are at. I thought we were in the south, but yeah, it is kind of feeling like the west over here. You can see it by the orientation of the tree branches. I think that's actually even true. The sun is probably more reliable. Just to give you an impression where we are already in Sweden, we crossed over into Malmö and then drove quite a bit on the E4. Well, not here, but up about from here. Then we drove through country roads over to Jönköping, then went up to the mine, which we didn't really find, and onto the E20, and then all the way the E4 up through Sundsvall, where we went to the IKEA today, and we're already halfway to Umeå. So yeah, Sweden isn't actually that big anymore. So the next few days we're just gonna follow E4 and then E10 up into Finland over here. When I was looking at the map at the visitor roundabout, I got talking with a fellow van lifer, and she actually already spent the day here, and apparently this is quite the park, so I didn't quite know what I signed myself up to. There's supposed to be some good views. The south entrance really is the kind of better one, but still west will do as well. So only problem is kind of the weather forecast. Even now it's raining and there were some heavy winds. So I'm actually not gonna get up super early because it's supposed to rain until about 8 or 9. And then we'll just see what we're gonna do. Recap for the day. I think it was kind of a sandwich day. Started out at the quiet beach. Then we had some hectic scenes at the breakfast bar at IKEA and finally back out in nature. So that was pretty cool. I really need to catch up on editing those soon. So I need some sleep. I wish you a good night and I'll see you tomorrow.